What's up, everybody? It's Broken Bones here, and Happy New Year's! Today marks the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024. 2023 was a crazy year for myself, and I want to take some time to review and look back and see what we went through this year. And I also want to take some time to look forward into the future and see what we're going to do in 2024. At the beginning of 2023, we were still on Season 8 of KrustyKraft, and that season I actually got burnt out on, and I actually quit playing Minecraft for a little bit of time until this season, Season 9, started. Before Season 9, there was two previous seasons, Season 7 and 8, that I did not do YouTube. I took a break from YouTube, and after doing that, I lost my motivation to play, and at the end of Season 8, I completely lost my motivation completely. And then the beginning of Season 9, it really sparked that up for me, and it made me want to come back stronger than ever. And that's because Season 9 has been the best season we've ever had so far, and it's motivated me so much that I decided to go ahead and build a mega base, which is this giant volcano that I'm still working on. This is worth 40 shulker boxes of smooth basalt that I placed over 5 days that were all consecutive. This thing is so massive that you can't really see the entire thing from anywhere on the realm unless you're above it, just like this. If we come all the way up here, you can kind of see the whole thing from this perspective. Now you can kind of see the whole thing. It's pretty massive. And if we fly on top of this pillar, we have ourselves a minecart rail that we built, and if we hop inside, we can go ahead and press this one. It'll dispense another one, so it's always ready to go, and this takes us right down into our base. And if we come all the way down in here, it takes us right to a two-way rail station that I made a tutorial for, which I'll leave a link in the top right-hand corner there for you guys. You guys definitely want to check this out, because this thing is awesome. Right in front of that two-way rail station, we have the base, and we also have over here a beeswax farm, and then we also have a little tiny flower farm, and a cocoa bean farm, and a cactus farm, and a small area that we've dug out. And if we take the minecart further down the rabbit hole, we're going to go down towards our iron farm now. This place is pretty well established. It drops you off right here, and then if we walk inside, you can see that we just built ourselves a brand new shulker box loader. If we come on down here, down the stairs, you can see that we have ourselves a shulker box loader. This thing's doing pretty well. We have ourselves almost a full barrel full of shulker boxes filled with ingots. Over here we have some poppies that we can turn into bone meal later. And then we also have the rotten flesh that we're going to turn into leather. Last episode we built all this in the back area to make sure that we could take those poppies and turn them into bone meal, and also have it loaded up into another shulker box loader, which we have down here. So we have a shulker box unloader which takes it into bone meal. We also have a shulker box loader that takes it and puts the bone meal into a shulker box and loads it back up. On one side we have a storage area. On another we have a sugarcane farm. We also have a basalt generator that needs some upgrading, and then we also have a smart furnace array. This super smart furnace array is super awesome, and you're going to want it, so I'm going to leave a link to the tutorial up in the top right hand of the screen. And of course inside we have the villager trader. And if we go deeper into the depths, then we're going to go all the way down to the villager breeder. And right here is our villager breeder, which this thing is doing very well, which I'll leave a tutorial for this one too up on the top right end of the screen. Just down in this corner from the villager breeder is a skeleton farm, and we built this really early game. Me and Nathan built this so we could get some bone meal and some levels, and all you have to do is come on down here, and here's all the storage for it right here, which it's empty because no one's used it in ages. But it served its purpose, and it's part of what we did in 2023. And if we take a look in here, oh my goodness, let's see, that's a lot of copper. I'm going to go take that back to my base while we're doing this. Moving on from laborious tasks, a few episodes ago I built this insane sign. This thing was really awesome and kind of daunting to build. It's actually really cool now that it's all done, but this was actually really harder, a lot harder than it looks. We also have a shopping district in which I've built a shop inside of, and so we're going to try to fly on down here. I didn't quite make it, but that's still fun to do. And right down here is my shop. I have a bookshop, which is all of the cool enchanted books, and I have tons of them, and this thing makes me tons of diamonds. Not to mention there's a little hide-a-hole right here. If you press this button, you can go right through there, and it takes you right to my iron farm. And once we're here, we got to hit this button and our door will open, and this is a totally secret door, which I also have a episode 2, which I show you guys how to build this, and I'll leave a link to that up in the top right hand corner. And all you do is you get this redstone torch or whatever input you're going to have, and once you have your input, all you need to do is put it somewhere and it'll break it for you, so it'll open it. And if you want to close it, you put it somewhere else in a hidden location and it'll close it up so no one ever knows. Moving on to the nether, I haven't really done much in here, but FNG Rob really has. And look at this place. This place is looking awesome. Look at these towers. Look at, oh my god, this place is so awesome. And MKV West, he actually got 2 gas up there, so FNG Rob could actually build all of this in peace. And if we come on down this way in the nether, we can see that I have a sign right here, and this is where I have my trident farm. And here it is. This is the trident farm, which is pretty simple. It's just a funnel of water with a roof over it to make sure that nothing but drowns really spawn in there. And with drowns, they always have tridents, and so we're able to go ahead and kill them with a trident killer, and that kills them and gets their tridents, which is pretty cool. But this is a tutorial from Silent Whisper, and Silent Whisper isn't that cool, so... I don't know why. I like dogging on Silent Whisper. It's funny. Now moving to the other side of the nether, but even further into the nether. And that is Underground Utopia. Underground Utopia is open to the public, and there are things that the members of it can use. I helped improve Underground Utopia by building a moss farm in the industrial district, which helped everybody with bone meal and all of the other products that these moss farms produce. And then also Miss Ambi took my super smelter tutorial, the same smart super smelter that I showed you in my base. She built one over here too. But this moss farm, this thing was super fun to build, and I think I'm running out of cards to put on the screen, so I'm going to go ahead and leave links down in the description for this tutorial and also the episode in which I built it. You guys are going to want one of these, so I'll leave the tutorial link down in the description too. And that's because this thing is expandable. You can build it with 1 layer, or you can build it all the way up to 7. If you build it up to 7, that's really maxing out what you can do with Minecraft. You're really maxing out the amount of moss blocks that can really spawn at one time. And of course, if we come to the end, we have the bedrock farm, in which we can go ahead and get bedrock using lag and block suppression. This is a farm in which it really only uses 2 pistons and a couple of doors. These doors right here, when we turn on the lag machine, which is over here, which is really just a bunch of magma blocks and soul sand, creating bubble columns side by side, kind of really just creates a bunch of lag on the realm, and especially when you bounce it back and forth, and so the game doesn't really know what to do, and it creates some lag to the point where it doesn't know if this is a door or if it's bedrock when you respawn the dragon. And so when you break those doors, the game gives you bedrock too, which is pretty cool. And no, you do not need any mods or cheats to get bedrock in survival. You can do this in pure vanilla survival. All you need is a lag machine, which I show you how to do in the tutorial, and I'll leave a link down in the description for that. And of course, if we go into the end cities, we have the space station. We started a space station right here. This is going to be a giant tube where I can fly through, but I built the floor so far, so we're going to have that ring going all the way down into the end, going all the way to our industrial district way out here. And this is going to be where my storage system is going to be, in this area, this giant ring right here. This is a loaded chunk radius for simulation distance 4. And then if we look right over here, here's going to be my mob district, where we're going to have the shulker farm, which is what we're approaching right now. And this shulker farm is super awesome because look at how many shulkers are here. You guys are going to definitely want to watch the episode where I built this, because this thing is insane. Not only that, it was very hard to fill up with these shulkers because these guys are pretty nasty. Look at this. They just want to shoot you. But the armor stands up there do a pretty good job at blocking the bullets from the player so you don't get hit. And if we take a look right over here at our storage system, you can see that we're out of shulker boxes because they're all filled up in here. And that's pretty much all that I've been able to accomplish in the year 2023 here on the KrustyKraft realm. But as you guys well know, I don't just play on this realm, I also do tutorials. And here in my testing world, I have all of the builds that I've done in tutorials. And I don't do the tutorials right here in the testing area. I take them out further where you can't see all this stuff, so it's a nice clean spot. But nonetheless, this is where all the ideas come from. If I don't get it right the first time, I do it a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time, and even a 5th time. I keep trying until I get it right. And as you can see, it's not the only farm I've done it with. I've done it to this thing too. This is Silent Whisper's design that he stole from somebody else, and I've stolen it from him, but nonetheless, I also put my wither cage on it, and so I wanted to have this as a collection system, and I tried to figure out how to do that, and this was some of the beginnings that I was using, and I don't really like how this works because this really isn't that efficient, but nonetheless, as you can see, it's part of the testing process. And as you can see, all my shulker box loaders and unloaders right here, I have 10 in a showcase that are all perfect, but as you can see, there's way more than 10 right here, because this is how many attempts it took me to get them all right. When I get frustrated of trying to do it on my own, sometimes I look to other people like Silent Whisperer and Prowl and some of the other good redstoners on YouTube, and I try to build their designs and see what some of the secrets are behind their designs and why it works so well, or maybe not so well. And since I actually build other people's tutorials sometimes I actually figure out that their tutorial is complete BS and it doesn't work in the first place. Like this super smart furnace array, this thing is supposed to work really well, but it actually doesn't, because right here the minecart actually picks up the items from above, and that's not really supposed to happen in a super smelter. This is for fuel and that's for items, and it's supposed to stay that way. They're not supposed to mix items. But most of what you see here are my own designs, just like this door. This door is a thing that I haven't made a tutorial for, but it's pretty cool. I made it for a friend of mine called Night Angel, and he wanted a 3x5 wide door that opened up just like this, and the button was span proof. So if you go ahead and close it from the other side, it'll go just like this, and you can sit there, and if your friend's annoying and wants to spam the button, it actually won't hurt the farm, because as you can see, it doesn't really do anything until it's all done anyway. And other farms like the Superior Flower Farm, I do have a tutorial for. This thing is shulker box loaded with bone meal, and it has shulker boxes that come from the Superior Moss Farm, and so this is the Superior Flower Farm that matches up with that, and it sends shulker boxes filled with bone meal to this farm, so you never have to reload it. And this thing is revolutionary because, as you can see on top, we have a bunch of pistons. Most of these flower farms use a minecart that go underneath, and the minecarts always get stuck because that's how buggy they are. And I hate minecarts for that reason, and so I really worked hard on trying to figure out a solution to clear off all the flowers from the land, and using glass on sticky pistons happens to work really well. It pushes all the flowers off into the water stream, and now we don't have any more buggy minecarts. So when you watch one of my tutorials, you know you're building something dependable. I will never ever build something that's buggy, glitchy, or sometimes works, or maybe works really well sometimes. All of my builds are dependable, and that means that they work really well all the time. And if for some reason an update breaks them, I also post out an updated tutorial. And my builds aren't just dependable, they're super efficient too. I always figure out how to ramp everything up without losing dependability, because you can always make things faster, but sometimes they don't work, and I hate that. I want to make sure that this thing's going to run all night, and when I get up in the morning, I'm going to have tons and tons of whatever item I'm farming. And not only that, with all of my tutorials, you can make your farms super OP. As you can see, this gold farm right here, down below has a super OP storage system. This thing has tons and tons of shulker boxes in it, and it has a super nice user station. However, I do not have a tutorial on this storage area because storage is usually subjective. Most people want to do it how they want to do it, and they want to do it in a custom fashion. However, most tutorials don't even show you how to build an OP storage system that is specific towards what you're building it to. And just like with shulker box loaders, these are the OP storage upgrades that you can put in your build, but at the same time, you've got to know how to hook them up, and nobody really shows you how to do that. So custom storage systems might be a thing in 2024 on my channel. I might be showing you guys how to make super OP storage systems for farms like this Guardian farm. If you really break it down and take a look, you can see that all of these are flowing into this item elevator right here, up this bubble vader all the way to the top. And as you can see, it comes right here where it finally goes into another bubble vader up here, where it misses a bunch of redstone, and it's able to come up to the very top of the farm. It comes down into different storage areas where everything is an item filter. So here's a bunch of item filters right here where it goes right into a shulker box loader. And so all these different items go right into shulker box loaders, where we can come down into this room, and this is a crafting station where the user would use. And so basically we have all of these shulker box loaded items. We can go ahead and craft everything that we need with all of the crystals and shards and ink, and we can come right over here and load it all up so we have a bunch of items that we want. And even with these tight spaces, I was able to fit in a redstone door just like this because I love redstone and I love redstone entrances. However, on a storage area like this, there's no tutorial for this door at all, and this is something that I had to custom make to fit inside of this. And so things like this are cool for these OP storage systems, because if we take a look underneath this button, we can see some of the magic behind how it happens. As you can see down here, we've got a bunch of things. I even had to use a target block in the circuit, and this was so long ago that I built this, I don't even know how this works, but nonetheless, I remember it was pretty hard, and I remember that we had to come over to this piston right here, and if we come up over here, we can see that that piston pushes this block up, which powers all this, which gets right around the whole shulker box loader that we have right here, so we can power the piston that moves that block up and down, and that way we have the correct timings for the doors, so that way both of those blocks close at the same time. And not only do you have a bunch of cool redstone features that you can add in with your crafting station, but you can also add in another farm that you can use for mining. This is a stone gen right here, where all of the XP from the farm comes right on top of this cactus. Any leftover items will get deleted, but the XP does not, and it goes right to the player. Inside the farm, the player sits right here and mines a bunch of stone, and on top of this trap door right here, there's a repeater that helps the farm go. This is where all the XP lands, so it goes right to the player. And all that XP will mend your pickaxe, so you have an infinite stone generator. And of course, this thing isn't just a stone gen, we have a shulker box loader attached to it. And down here is a shulker box loader that breaks into a water stream. And if somebody were to come into your farm right at the right time, they'd have a pretty cool presentation of that shulker box going right up this bubble vader right here, which will go right into your storage system right over here by the player, where the player can collect it. And when I do testing on a large farm like this, I use water streams and hoppers. I don't use command blocks, I don't use counters, I don't use anything else but what the game uses for me to collect it. This way I know I'm getting the exact reading on how many hoppers and how many things I'm going to need. And so the storage system on this guy is going to need, 6 of these hoppers for, I believe, shards. Is that correct? And then we also have 3 that are used for all the crystals, and so therefore I know that only 3 of them have been used in like an hour or 2 of running this farm. And then over here I believe we have 1, and I believe that's just the ink. So when I do these tutorials for storage systems, you're going to know that they're going to be large enough and powerful enough to handle all the items that come into it. And if we come into the nether side of my test world, we can see that we have a wither skeleton farm and zombie pigman farm combo, which is a gold farm and a wither skeleton farm, which is pretty cool. And if we look down here, we have a bunch of storage systems for this, but this farm actually, I don't want to use this one because this was a mistake. This is something that I did, and then after I built it, I realized this isn't the design I wanted. But just check this out, this is really cool. I built myself a little slime elevator, which takes the player and brings them up to the top up here via slime blocks, which is so cool because, I mean, look at how fun this is. And it takes you all the way up to the top and puts you onto the bridge. The XP of this farm goes down onto these iceways, and then all of the items get sucked through the ice via these hopper mine carts. And then all the XP gets flung forward, and then it gets pushed up to here, which it goes all the way up this another slime elevator since we don't have bubble vaders, and it gets pushed up to the player via this slime block right here. It goes all the way across to the player where he's AFK. And to be honest, the reason why this isn't the design that I wanted is because at first I did say that it was a gold farm and wither skeleton farm combo, but that's because I was trying to learn the mechanics of how wither spawning worked, and I totally got it wrong. These are not the blocks you want to use. So I had a problem with this farm where I couldn't stop the spawning of zombie pigmen, so I decided to go ahead and use it to my advantage and make a dual farm with it. But as you can see, I'm not sure why these guys aren't attacking these turtle eggs anymore. That used to be a mechanic. But regardless if this thing works or not, the point is that these are some of the ideas that you guys haven't seen that I want to start doing in 2024. And regardless of how complicated a build is, I'm sure most of you are pretty good at Redstone, good enough to figure out a build and how to get through the tutorial. However, we got to remember that there is a big part of the community that is just learning Redstone, which is most of the Redstoners out there. Most of the beginning Redstoners are intimidated by big tutorials like this and want to find a smaller tutorial like this, and even sometimes the small tutorials intimidate them. And that's because when you find a tutorial that has simple and easy on it and you think it's going to be easy and simple, you go ahead and build it and you still don't know how it works. And that's because most of the Redstone community, being new to Redstone, doesn't even know the fundamentals or principles behind all the circuits and all the things you can do with them. For example, this is Silent Whisper's Dark Oak Tree Farm. As you can see, we have different colored bits of wool, and these are all the different circuits that I've labeled out. And this build was not like that in the tutorial. This build was all out of one type of block. It was quartz blocks, and the entire tutorial was done layer by layer. So you didn't get circuit by circuit, you got layer by layer, which was very confusing for me to follow. But I went ahead and built the entire thing just like Silent did it, and then I went back through and I figured out how all the circuits worked. Once I found all the different circuits and what they do, I went ahead and color coded all of them. And once I did that, I tried to improve the farm as much as I could. And the only way I could really do that was to go ahead and build a wither blaster just like this. There's really nothing you can do to this farm. It only works if you make everything exactly the way the tutorial shows it. And as you can see, I built a couple of these, and I didn't actually build these. I just got a structure block and copied it over. So I have a control model, and then I also have models that I worked on in different ways. And for some of you new Redstoners out there, these are some of the things that you need to be doing, because these are the things that all the good Redstoners are doing. And once I started doing that, I was able to teach myself the fundamentals of Redstone and learn how everything started to work. I started to create all my own Redstone contraptions. And in making my own designs, I also made a lot of mistakes. And in making mistakes, I also came up with better designs, and I've learned a lot from that. I've not only learned what doesn't work, but I've also learned how to make it work and make it work better. And that's how I've gotten good at Redstone, the hard way. And for those of you that are new to the community of Redstone, I don't want you guys to have to learn the hard way. So coming in 2024, we're going to start a new series. We're going to do some basic principles and fundamentals behind how Redstone works and all the things that make it work and what you can do with it all. So that way you guys can learn how how to do this too. I can't even begin to explain the satisfying feeling that I get when I have tried so hard many times to make something work, and then I finally make it work on the very last attempt, regardless of how many attempts I have to try. But it is so cool making my ideas come to life and making everything happen the way I want it to. And I know most of the Redstone community out there wants to do the same thing. You guys have tons and tons of ideas, and you guys want to make it all come to life. You guys have tons of stuff, and you guys want to use it to get more stuff. You want to make stuff happen with some stuff so you can get more stuff, so you can collect that stuff and make some more stuff with it. And sometimes you build a farm to get the stuff you need to build another farm. And then sometimes you build a farm because you need what it has, because you want to build a really cool build. But regardless of what you guys are building, I want to make sure that you guys can get the materials for it using your own redstone contraptions. And even if you decide to go with someone else's design, it's still nice to know all the principles behind it, so if it breaks, you know how to fix it. So for all of you that are new to the Redstone community, I'm going to be focusing on you guys in 2024. We're going to be doing some basic videos on all the fundamentals and principles behind Redstone, so you guys can start learning how everything works. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope you guys have a happy new year, spend lots of time with your friends and family, and enjoy the time, be safe, have fun. I'm Broken Bones, and I will see you guys in 2024. Happy New Year's, everybody!